often get inquiries from people through Facebook, email, that people wondering, where can I find out more about your Alexander the Great project, the tomb of Alexander the Great? A lot of people think that this is just a bunch of bogus crap, because and you notice it's people that don't know anything about history. And this is the front cover of my book one. I'm going to be showing you pieces and parts of book one and book two. And this is the cover of book one. And I actually had two different sets of publishing for book one. And one from 2000 and the other one from 2006. And the books were loaded with color photographs, and they were just way too expensive to print up. And we'll see more about that here later. But now they are available as ebooks. And we're going to start at the top here. I'm just going to show you a couple of things. Here's the Helios motif here, and it's read from right to left. People don't understand that. Our trademark here, we trademark this. And on each side of this, this right here, for instance, is the motif for Alexander Helios, Cleopatra, and Mark Antony's missing son from history. And on each side here, I used to have the picture of a gold slab that had this inscription in it. And this inscription pops up in several different other things. I lost the picture of this gold tablet in my fire that I had in 2008. But this is the cartouche of Alexander the Great. And a lot of people that they said, well, it's standing up and down where all the other Alexander the Greats are written out sideways. Well, anybody that studies Egyptian know it can go up, down, forwards, backward. It can be all over the place. But this is up, straight up and down. It's the same picture, just flopped over here. Well, what's the difference? These are found in North America, and the others are from the Middle East. So go figure. A new history for a new century. And that was our slogan that we came up with in the mid-90s. Alexander Helios Inc. is one of my companies, presents Ancient Mediterranean Treasure in North America. And you'll see some gold pieces here. I'm going to blow it up a little bit here so you can see it better. This is one of the appears to be a shark. Here's a man with some kind of insignia in front of him. Here's a ship with the sun, and you see Helios. This was a gold medallion. Ancient Mediterranean Treasure in North America. Isn't that a pretty font? But it cost a lot of money to make these. See, here's a snake with Helios, and the Helios motif itself, it can be written left to right, right to left. It can be all over the place as well. You'll see our slogan again, a new history for a new century. And it's got some of the same medallions pictured. That appear on the front, and plus a lot of new ones. And here is the back of the book and what I put on there, if anybody cares to read it. And you'll see it right here. It says recorded by Harry Hubbard for Alexander Helios Inc. It's recorded. It was recorded by me. And this is the title page. You see our trademark for the Helios motif there. Tomb Chronicles Part 1. And that's really what it is. This is Tomb Chronicles Part 1, and all the other subsequent volumes were Tomb Chronicles Part 2, Tomb Chronicles Part 3, etc., etc., etc. And you'll see this goes from winter 1993 to midwinter of 1995. Recorded by Harry Hubbard for Alexander Helios, all rights reserved, what's 2000-2006. So here you'll see copyright 1995, 2000-2006 by Lazeria Publishing. And this was when I was working down in Georgia at NRC Studios. Manufactured in the USA by Franklin Press, Rome, Georgia. Franklin Press was just a couple of doors down from the studio. And my longtime dear friend Paul Knox was the one who put the books together and printed them there at Franklin Press. There's Library of Congress number. And that's the whole name of it right here. Boom. Recorded by Harry Hubbard. Previously released as Treasure in Romine, which was actually the Romine Township, 1995. The Discovery of Alexander's Tomb in 2000. Cover design by Kathy Herter. And I just want to point out that she did a heck of a job. That real nice front cover and back cover and even the spine. Kathy did that. That beautiful font. She did that. So that's a shout out to Kathy. And thank you, thank you. And she also helped me with my sentence structure and some of my phrases and how I put things together. And the final edit by Shoshana Allison. And Shoshana had the final edit, and she had known a lot about it. And I would mention something, and she would have me throw something else in, or throw something, you know, elaborate on this, elaborate on that. And then as I would get it, then Kathy and I would kind of try to put the sentences together, and then Shoshana would proofread it, and then she would make her suggestions. So these two fine ladies right here worked a lot with me on this project. Thank you, ladies. Because of these two ladies here, this book was good. There's the ISBN, nonfiction, and there's the categories. Now I'm going to show you the table of contents. And I use a lot of the old styles of writing from the mid-1800s, late 1800s or so. And here, part one, the discovery of Alexander's tomb, which I left this. This page was evidently left after I had changed some of the other things. And what you'll notice is my chapters are listed by seasons. By seasons. And season 1, 2, 3, on and on. Because that's how I remember things. Because when you're in Florida, there is no winter. You just have spring and summer around the years. But when you're in Georgia, Tennessee, Illinois, Kentucky, everywhere else, there are seasons. But Florida really doesn't have seasons. So I put all this down so that I could remember, and this is how I recorded stuff. And in fall of 1994 is when we put Tomb Tape 3 together. Now, Tomb Tape 3 is not available, but in this book it is completely detailed and outlined for what looks like, what, 25 pages or so? 20, yeah. And so there were decipherments in Tomb Tape 3, the second version of it, that are not in anything that I don't believe. There are just a few decipherments, but most of the decipherments from Tomb Tape 3, or all of the decipherments from the original Tomb Tape 3, are in this book, which is one of the reasons why we're not so gung-ho about publishing Tomb Tape 3, because it is extremely esoteric. It is old. It's mine and Paul's second video presentation after the Matt video. And here you have Searching for Alexander's Tomb, starts here on page 40. And that is when I first came to Illinois to actually start a physical search to try to locate properties, landowners, and try to bust Russell Burroughs and to find out where these artifacts had come from. And here you have, it's got 15 plates. And here starts the appendix. And there's some famous people here. This is letters dated 1992 from Dr. Thomas Emerson, which other people had given us letters and copies of letters and such. And here's something from Burroughs dated August of 1993. And a lot of people that read this book that have known me and Paul for years, after they read the book, I ask them, well, what did you learn from the book that you didn't know? And across the board, they say, we didn't know that you had so much commerce back and forth with Russell Burroughs before the crap hit the fan. And here we're looking at our requests and our suggestions to the BCC board members in September of 1994. This is when I showed Tomb Tape 3 to the BCC. This is Burroughs Cave Committee. Board members. Burroughs had conned enough people, and these were museum curators, PhDs, doctors, learned men. Burroughs Cave Committee, and not a single one of them had ever been to the tomb, and not a single one of them had ever met the landowner. And here's these endorsement letters from Dr. Shears, Dr. Covey. We had a bunch of some others too, and they endorsed us until the alien / flying saucer / UFO tablets decipherment started coming out. And here was the paper I wrote concerning Alexander Helios, forgotten emperor of ancient America. And it's a 4-page essay concerning primarily what we knew at the time about Alexander Helios, who is the missing son, again, missing son of Queens Cleopatra and Mark Antony. And here we go down some more on the appendix continued. There's a very famous scholar here, Dr. Cyrus H. Gordon, letter dated December of 1994, which I think we actually sent him a Tomb Tape 3 through Joe Mahan. And this guy was brilliant. He was the world's top Semitic scholar, Semitic inscription scholar. He checked the Pariah Stone. He had done many he'd published several books on Semitic languages. He was the world's top, and me and Paul knew him. We talked to him on the phone, and his wife Connie was brilliant. And in his letter, it says in there, if what you say is true, you have made the greatest discovery of all mankind. Hello, if Dr. Cyrus Gordon, we took that as a pat on the back. Dr. Cyrus Gordon says that in his letter, which is reprinted in here. And here's some other people here. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. And this right here is my report on the Ptolemaic dynasty, who is buried here, the whole 9 yards, the whole deal, about each one of the kings that are buried here. And along with Alexander the Greatest and Queen of Queens Cleopatra. And in Tomb Chronology was another long report that I put together concerning what had happened between 1982 and 1992, of what we kind of knew at that time. And then here's Shoshana wanted me to put this in here, cast of characters, because she felt that it was necessary. You need to know, people need to know that everyone in this book is real. These are real people, and these are real places and towns. And below that is my introduction to the book. And the first paragraph here basically covers that everything in this book is true. And the second paragraph here is talking about the characters here are all real, except for the mythical characters who were concocted by the sick mind of a psychotic criminal in order to traumatize the integral participants of a grand scheme. And this is like the landowner George Neff, Russell Burroughs. He traumatized people, saying that if you piss me off, the landowner tells me to tell that you're out of it. I'm just cutting you out of it. Which means if Burroughs threw anyone out of his court, that means they couldn't buy any more artifacts from him. All the place names, towns, and cities are listed accurately with no attempt to deceive the reader, and they still exist today exactly as they did long before this narrative began. The next page is the preface penned by my longtime friend and colleague, Paul Allen Kelly Shafranca. And it's brilliant. It's typical Paul work. He's all over the place, and he's just a brilliant mind. And this is why it's recorded or documented by me, because though the principal characters are Harry and myself, I can assure the reader that every written word is fact. There have been no alterations or exaggerations. As one of our colleagues once stated, it reads like history on steroids. And that's what what happens when you read this book. You are in the movie with Paul and myself. It puts you right in the chair, sitting between us as this happens to us. And it reads like a movie. And I get a lot of that style from like Livy and Diodorus Siculus, Polybius, different various ancient writers that I'm very fond of. Harry has done his best to put you, the reader, in this story from our point of view. This set of volumes will take you to many places, from life in Florida to being on the wrong end of firearms in the remote woods of Illinois, from debates in the halls of academic conferences and state archaeologists' offices to inside Native American ceremonial lodges. These things and so much more we did together, and that's the truth. Everything in this book is the truth, the good and the bad. I hope you enjoy this volume and the sequels that follow it. So anyway, that concludes what I'd like to show you concerning Book 1. This is the printed issue, this is the only copy I have left. Now you can purchase this online at alexanderhelios.com.